now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also, follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady who grew up in Hollywood, California. She's learned how to get in the music industry and work her way through, and she managed to do it all by herself and really made her name for herself and found acceptance in the blues community with a lot of great names out there. It's a blues, rock, jazz, funk, soul kind of thing, as mentioned as well too, and worked with many great talents and with number of great artists they've worked with. And she's got a new album out called Thou Art That, with a single Goody Two Shoes will be playing in the show, and she's had some big boy blues in a sense as well too. So live, ladies and gentlemen, live from beautiful Hollywood, California, ladies and gentlemen, the next best Thou Art That, Sabrina. Sabrina, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Howdy. Hello. How are you doing, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us here. So you grew up in Hollywood, California. You learned how the music industry and the world worked. You spent a lot of time in Hollywood, California, and you found acceptance of the blues community. And you've got a new album out called Thou Art That, featuring Goody Two Shoes. We'll play in just a few moments. You've had some big boy blues. You play with B.B. King, Los Lobos, Jimmy Cliff, Dr. John, Leon Russell, Temptations, Motels, and more. And you've got quite a story to tell, but before we're going to do all that, tell us how I got started.
I come from a musical background. So as a child, I just automatically started playing music because it was in my world. My parents played music. My father was a musician. So when I was really young, it was pretty easy for me to just start, playing drums or singing and play music with my friends and go out and get, gigs. Mm-hmm. And so it started really young for me. And, it was just something to do because I could do it. And I believe I didn't start believing that it could be something, that I could actually make a living at until I was a little older. And so I started working as a vocalist, singing for studios and singing in bands and just making a living. I was a very young single mom, and I just had to, it was what I could do best. And I've always had these singing pipes, so it just kind of came naturally. And I've always been a person that writes music as well. However, I initially made a name for myself singing other people's music. It wasn't until I made my first solo album that I started getting radio play with my stuff. It was amazing. It was something that I thought, wow, people actually like my music, my songs. The only problem I had back then was I hired somebody to play the piano parts for me. Whereas with this album, Thou Art That, I've managed to play all the piano parts myself. And I think that actually gives more to the song. I'm not a pianist in any means, but I did write all the songs. And so I think was just appropriate for me to play in the way that I do, because it matched my voice, and stylistically it's actually what I heard to begin with. So it was easier for me just to do that myself. And then so anyways, in my career, I was into the punk rock movement, as a very young child, and I had already been playing music, and I even decided at one point in my life that I could be an opera singer.
Oh my gosh.
I was into everything. Yeah, I was into everything. So, but of course, there was something that I kept falling back on, and that was just because it came to me, which was I was introduced at a young age to, Americana folk blues music, and it was something that really resonated with me. So eventually I found myself singing in a world beat band, and on occasion we would do some blues songs, and I would be the one who would sing them, and I got a really good response, and I only sang the songs that I loved truly. And to have such feedback for the emotion that I was feeling while singing these songs, because I only sang them because they meant something to me, that I just thought, God, I'm not a blues singer. I no, this is just something that I'm having a good release with. And of course, in my own world, I was writing lots of music that was probably more blues, jazz, funk related. So eventually, I was playing the blues circuit. I started working with a guitar player, Vince White, and singing his original music, and we just kind of took off. It was great. We got a great response. We were like the dynamic duo for a little while, and it was wonderful. I mean, I was accepted by the blues community in a way that I had never been before, because I was accepted as a performer and as a singer, and it opened doors for me. It was phenomenal, because once I was able to surround myself with pro players that had such passion for what they were doing, things just kind of started to fall in alignment. And all through this time, I kept writing, and we recorded Big Boy Blues, and it's now in its third printing. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's been doing pretty well still, and it's been a while. And I think what it did for me was give me this awareness that I have a gift, and I need to go with it. So I've been going with it, and it brought me to record this album, which has been a real gift as well to me, because I took it upon myself to do it all, to produce it, to take songs that only I had written, and just hired the guys, and I used a lot of people that I had been working with already. I had Vince White on I think he's on 3 songs on the album, and a lot of other amazing, tremendous players, and it was just gold to us. I mean, we all enjoyed ourselves, and there was a lot of laughter, and it became this passion project. It was just everything just kind of fell into place. I'm really, really lucky. And honestly, originally I had another producer in mind to work on it, but I couldn't afford his rate, and so in the long run, I had to just do it myself out of necessity. And I'm really glad I did.
It sounds like you did a great job on Big Boy Blues. Pretty much you just took on the project yourself. You hired a lot of great musicians, and talk about your life, who you really are, and everything else. And is there anything else you need to add about Big Boy Blues?
Oh, well, Big Boy Blues, that one, it was... We were opening for B.B. King, and we needed to have something that we could have at our merch table that was current, that was us. And so we went ahead and started. It helped to push us to get it done. So we had something tangible for our audience to take home with. And, we were just trying to get ourselves out there. So Big Boy Blues came about by hiring a producer, and then an engineer that I knew at the time, and let's see, and I think there's actually a live performance on there with another band that we were working with, and and then some of it wasn't even recorded where we were. We had other musicians from Alabama, I believe. They were recording some parts. They had the organ and the bass and drums, basically the rhythm section, and then we came in with guitar and vocals. And then there's some pieces that were just Vince and I, just guitar and vocals on there. And so that was done on a low budget, and let's get it out really quick. And it's unbelievable that because we did it with such love in our hearts, that it was the fact that people like it and it's in its third printing means so much, because that's what it's all about, really. It's not about how much money or how well produced or anything is. It's really how the audience has to feel it. They have to feel the effort and the soul and the love and, the sweat that was put into it. And that's, I believe, how it's appreciated. Because as the artist, when I hear it back, I'm thinking, we could have done that better. But people like it, so that's okay. Mm-hmm. And now with this project, Thou Art That, it's even been a little bit more exciting, just because it's all songs that I wrote, all original material, and it's and I've got horns on it, so that was pretty cool for me to have horns.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing, too. We'll talk about those, too, in just a minute, and who you play with, B.B. King and more. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Sabrina, the turned blues singer from Hollywood, California. She talked about her Big Boys Blues released and how she got started, learning how the music industry and how the world work just from the ground up, learning by herself. You also play with B.B. King, Los Lobos, Jimmy Cliff, Dr. John, Leon Russell, Temptations, Motels, and tell us what's it like working with those guys, especially B.B. King, who is one of my favorites who had gone on a while back.
Yes. Well, he was phenomenal. I mean, very, very, very kind. His band was so cool. And I have to tell you, when the second time I met them, the fact that they remembered my name and stopped to say hello and just, that says a lot about a person, because, they played nonstop. They worked every day, unless they were getting to the next destination. They were constantly working. And, I'm telling you, the second that Mr. King decided to retire, that's when he left us in the physical sense. But he was tremendous. His hands, enormous. He had these soft, giant hands. Now, I am a petite woman, but still, that man had some large hands. Honestly, his soul, when he looked you in the eye and he spoke to you, he was a very soft-spoken and kind-hearted person. And of course, I was very grateful to have been able to work with him. So, and he knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's not a person in the last 50 years of his career that he was able to recognize that if you were standing next to him, he was doing you a favor. So
it sounds like it, and the thrill may be gone physically, but spiritually, the thrill still lives on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yep. And I've spoken to more people that had met him and said many of the same things about just his presence and how he was as a person.
Mm-hmm. And also you worked with Los Lobos, Jimmy Cliff, Dr. John, Leon Russell, Temptations, and Motels. And tell us about working with those guys.
Oh, man. Well, let's see. Martha Davis of the Motels, she's awesome. She's an incredible person because she's someone that writes her own music and has stayed unique and herself throughout her entire career. And and Los Lobos, they were wild. They were so fun. Oh my God. What was really cool is seeing people come out to see them, bands like that, artists like that. You look out into the audience and who do you see but other iconic artists? I mean, one night with Los Lobos backstage, and see now I'm going to be so bad with names I can't remember, but it was Neil Young's bass player, one of his bass players, but one that he had worked for so many years and recorded with and toured with. Oh my gosh, I'll remember his name as soon as we hang up. I know it. But just the amazing people that I got to cross paths with just because they came out to admire someone else's work. It's kind of cool. I mean, John Mayall standing at his sound check and then turning behind me and then seeing some other artist that I just kind of was blown away to just see standing there going, yeah, he's so cool. And I'm thinking, man, it's just a cool, unique world to be a part of. And honestly, every single like Tower of Power, they're such a hard-working band that just keeps on going. And the fact that they can get every single person, if there are seats in the room, no one will be sitting. It's like B.B. King. I'm serious. There was no place to go. One venue we were at, everyone was standing, everyone. And even, the people bringing you the drinks are just, everyone's frozen in time because, you are in the presence of someone who has experienced and given us music in such a way that is so rare, and for us to be in that moment in time, it was just magical, because there's many musicians, many artists out there in the world, and me being one of them. But once in a while, you come across someone who you just know this is magical. This is why I do what I do. This is because of this person,
mm-hmm. And it sounds like a lot, too. And I just looked up the name of the Neil Young bass player, Rick Rosas. That's the name of it. Also play with Jerry Lee Lewis, Etta James, and, of course, Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young. I think that's the name you're looking for is Rick Rosas.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
It isn't amazing. You can just look up things as well, too. Of course, we'll try to get in some Jimmy Cliff, Dr. John, Leon Russell, and more as well, too. And we'll get to our single as well in just a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today at 1-800 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also, you can also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Sabrina from Hollywood, California. She talked about the many legends she played with: B.B. King, Los Lobos, the Motels, and more. We'll get to some others as well, too. She released Big Boy Blues, which is third printing, which has gotten a lot of attention. Here's her newest release album-wise, Thou Art That. We'll get to explain what it is. And here's her latest single, Goody Two Shoes, right here on the Mike Wagner Show. Here's Sabrina, Goody Two Shoes on the Mike Wagner Show. Yeah, it is a good thing. That's right. Sabrina, Goody Two Shoes here on the Mike Wagner Show. And talk about what inspired you to come up with the song, and tell us more about it. That was a really good tune.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I think what inspired that song was just I like to write about things that it's like, you know, I'm the person that will talk about the elephant in the room. So when everyone's having their disagreements, I believe that at the end of the day, we should all just be nice to each other, no matter what our belief systems are. And I think the song Goody Two Shoes, for me, was about expressing myself that way, to just, saying the Goody Two Shoes is to say, just be nice, just be kind. Or, but actually do a good deed for someone else, for no reason at all. And honestly, it would be nice if everyone on the planet had a nice pair of shoes, because then I think it would resolve a lot of issues we have on this planet also. And it's something simple like that, or like everyone growing a tree that bears fruit. Something to, change the world in a positive way that harms no one.
And I think that's a really good point, too. And the album, Thou Art That, you can tell us about some of the songs you featured and what inspired you to come up with the title, Thou Art That.
Well, I paint also, and I had a painting that I had been working on in it, and I titled that painting, Thou Art That, from an old piece of writing. I'm very much into history, and I love reading about different beliefs, different religions, different histories of people, and so I'm very passionate about our human history. And there was a time when people believed that to be good and to be kind was just a way of being at your highest good. And there's these people called the Upanishad, and they were very much, I guess you could say, like Buddhists, where they believed in just being I'll just express the I'm such a knucklehead sometimes. The title Thou Art That is basically thou meaning the everything, the all. Unless you're religious, then it would be your God, but also us reflecting that. So we are that. We are a reflection of what we put out there into the universe, and we are a reflection of each other, and we are a reflection of what our highest mindset is, or our gods. So
that is fantastic too. We'll find out more about how you can purchase the releases as well too, and a few more things. You talked about playing with B.B. King, Los Lobos, Jimmy Cliff, Dr. John, Leon Russell, Temptations, and Motels. Who are some of your favorite artists, singers, and actors or actresses while you're growing up?
Oh gosh, well, I'm a huge fan of Etta James. Loved her. She was amazing. I had the opportunity to not really work with, but meet and talk about work. We will eventually. Her guitarist that she worked with for many years, and I'm a great fan of old movies, silver screen, great actresses, silent pictures, anything that's really artistic and sometimes obscure, I guess. And so, and loving the blues. I loved the older American blues from the South, and singers like Big Mama Thornton, and then, of course, Chicago blues like Coco Taylor, and God, so many powerful women that as a young girl, growing up biracial, there weren't a lot of people out there being female saying, you can do this too, that looked like me. So, of course, there was Wonder Woman. She was a brunette, so. But even still, it was like being a kid living in inner city Los Angeles, and I think it was a different reality for me than a lot of other kids, because I was a child living on the streets at a point in my life. And then there was a time in my life when I found myself in juvenile hall. And then there was a moment in my life when I was living in a group home. And then I was a young teenage mom. And then, so I had all these life experiences that could have gone and put me in a mindset of completely being less than and not being able to achieve any goals or desires. But as the American story goes, that's all false, because I was able to. I worked hard, and I've lived my life as a person who strives to do what they like and what they enjoy, because that's honestly what makes me happy. Because I'm an artist, I know that I need to just keep doing what I find joy doing.
That is amazing. I just love your rags to riches story in terms of getting out of the inner workings of Hollywood into what you're doing today. It's an amazing story. Now, if you were to choose a band, like, say, pick a drummer, bass player, guitarist, keyboard, or horn section, whatever, who would you choose to play what instrument and why?
Oh, that's really a great question, because I think I did that when I made Thou Art That, because I've been blessed to work with many talented drummers, and I met this drummer, Brian Head, and he's just another hardworking pro drummer in LA, but he's phenomenal. This guy was phenomenal. So I decided, I'm going to work with him. I mean, honestly, if I was going to pick a drummer of a fictional thing, I might, go with like Keith Moon or somebody, or gosh, there's so many amazing drummers out there that have existed and exist now. And then also the horn section, I would choose, oh God. Well, I was actually blessed to use two people that had worked with Ray Charles, so I did have that going for me. I mean, I would say James Brown's horn section, but that's who I would pick, because but I lucked out with the players that I did get. And let me see, guitar player. I mean, someone like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jimi Hendrix or B.B. King, or that would be amazing. I have yet to do that. I hope one day, like, maybe I could work with someone like a Joe Bonamassa, or even a Jack White, or Gary Clark Jr. That would be pretty awesome. That would be really phenomenal if I could work with those people. I would love to do a duet or something with someone like Bonnie Raitt. She's amazing. She has such a soulful, lilting voice. And, anyone who I believe that puts passion forward and just is themselves and doesn't imitate, that's where you find your glory as an artist. And I think at this day and age, honestly, I really hope that there's a music renaissance where the organic sense of music comes back into the mainstream, because these days you have to fight hard to get that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of autoplay being had these days, and sounds being taken off, the internet, and off your laptop and put into the, I don't know. I just feel like when a person is putting their effort and into it, that it just comes out so much different. And it's one of those things where, as a songwriter, I would hope that my songs are played 10, 20 years from now and still enjoyed in the same sentiment, where I think a lot of songs that are not made in that organic sense might just, dissipate into the universe and never be thought of again. And I would hope not to have that with anything I put out, because you put let's say Chuck Berry or somebody, you put on an old record of his or something, you can't help, even if you've heard it 1,000 times, you tap your toes, because there was something to be said about that energy that was put out there when they made that, whatever it was he did, that magic he had. And God, like Leon Russell, being able to see that man perform live, it was pretty astounding, because he just had this energy about him that made you feel like you were stepping back in time, because, like, I swear, every song that man ever wrote was a hit, and it was full of life. Dr. John, for instance, working with Dr. John, he was such an eloquent person. He would walk. I remember seeing him walk out on stage very slowly, because he suffered in his later days greatly with arthritis. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, wow, he's got like shows back to back, and this was our first night working together. So I thought, oh, okay, well, he just played last night. I think they were in San Francisco or something. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, well, okay. So he gets up there, and the minute he starts playing, and mind you, he didn't just have his piano. He had a piano, a guitar. He had like some acoustic instruments, and it's like, and he played every single one of them, and he played it with such fervor and such, it's like he was a 17-year-old man all of a sudden. His hands seemed to work just fine. And it was, it's like you can't take that away from this, someone who's got it. It just, I have to say, I was so taken back by his performance. And then, to know that he was seemingly so delicate, and just a few moments before his presence came about on stage and he started playing piano, it was night and day, two different people.
It sounds amazing as well, too. I would love to see Dr. John perform as well, too, along with the many others. And just a couple more things here. We'd love to have you back on again soon as well. You've been fantastic. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Sabrina?
My biggest influence in my career has been, honestly, my father, to emulate his abilities to be able to write and sing and be a good role model. And my children, because they keep me going and be honest about my endeavors, because I am their role model. So I just hope to put out into the universe that they can be proud of me and know that I have been doing my best to follow my passion and what I believe keeps me whole and a sane parent. Because I honestly believe that if I wasn't doing music, I'd be really crazy, or much crazier in a bad way. Like, I think there's good crazy, and that's what I am. But I really, there's a lot of people in my life that have helped me to push me forward in my mindset and not give up. And a lot of that, a lot of those people have been the people that have been blessed to meet, like B.B. King and Dr. John, just because seeing them live their lives following their passion and playing music. And I know it wasn't easy, because it's not easy for anyone who's chosen this path. And it's more work than it is fun, and sometimes it seems, but it's really well worth it. And when the work is something that gives you joy, at the end of the day, you're just, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I imagine that's with anything that any career that someone is choosing to do in life, such as a teacher who, at the end of the day, you've done something good for someone. And with the music that I write, I hope that I can touch someone's life, make them feel good, give them company. And it makes me feel that I have worth.
That is amazing, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Any advice musically? Well, I would say stick to your dreams. Keep moving forward by doing something every day that has to do with your goal. And if that's you're a songwriter, then just keep writing that song. Keep working on what it is that you love to do. Do it in the name of passion, though. Don't do it in the name of money, because I think that will steer you in the wrong direction. When you do things based on feeling that you're going to collect something at the end of the day in a monetary way, that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be that you are doing what you do well, and you might even do it better than a lot of other people who are doing it. Therefore, you might be giving something back to someone who needs it, or and it's to follow your calling is a huge thing. And if you have a song, or you want to be a singer, or you're an actor, and your goal is to get out there and be heard or be seen, just keep doing it, because like I keep saying, at the end of the day, you'll know when it's worth it, and you never know what it will lead you to. Because sometimes when you are living your truth, you don't necessarily end up doing what you started doing, because I really didn't imagine that I would have a solo career. I really didn't want to put my name on I wanted to be a band. So my goal was always, I'm going to have a band. We're going to be a unit, a team. But it didn't work out that way. And so I'm just putting my songs out there and actually getting players that I can work with, and having, it's like an army of all these, that I can choose from, like 10 bass players here and 5 guitar players there. And and it's kind of incredible, because it's not how I really saw it to begin with when I started out, but it's how it's been going, and it's working just fine. And I would say to anyone who's got a dream, just, the more people that tell you no, unless they have a degree in what it is that you're doing also, and even then, don't necessarily listen to them, because the naysayers are sometimes really false and unnecessary for you to pay attention to. It's probably most important just to believe in yourself and know that you are capable of following through and getting to where you need to be in life.
And that's a very good point, too. And once again, singer Sabrina, songwriter, she's got her works out called Thou Art That and Big Boy Blues. I'd like to thank you very much for your time. And once again, before we go here, we'd love to have you back on again soon. Tell us about your upcoming projects, your website, how do people contact you, and where can people purchase or listen to your music?
Well, you can find me by going to SAYED Syed Sabrina. You can find me on any of the music platforms. I'm on Spotify. I'm all over the place. If you put my name in, you'll find me. And the different shows I have coming up as well, they'll be there. And let me see what else. Oh, and Thou Art That. You can find Thou Art That. Also, you go anywhere and just put it in, Thou Art That, and my album should pop up, and there for purchase, or you can just listen to a song at a time. I'm really proud about the album, because we do have it on vinyl, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
I put lyrics in it. I've got an entire booklet on the inside. I was told, by everybody I work with, shh, keep it secret. Let it be like a surprise. But honestly, it's so cool because, it's something. It's like what I remember as a teenager, being able to open up a record. I would take my older brother's records and I'd go through them and think, God, these are so cool. Look at this. There's lyrics inside of all of these albums. And it's something for me to give to the listener, and also so that you can listen to the album from beginning to end and know that it's part of my personal journey that I've experienced in my life thus far. And so I hope to put it out there as a piece of art and songs to inspire and hopefully tap your foot to and just enjoy.
That sounds great. And Sabrina, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, very inspiring. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. We'd love to have you back on very soon.
Thank you, Mike. You've been awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.